Did you know that your legacy is not just what you leave behind, but the impact you make in the hearts and minds of those who follow? So here it is. Embrace your roots, share your story, and inspire future generations to be able to rise up. Ladies and gentlemen, excited for season 7. Let's go. Hola, ¿qué tal, mi gente? Welcome to another episode here at Fuel Pasión Podcast, where we dive into cultura and immerse ourselves. We grow in our faith, y como siempre, we make those conexiones. My name is Noan Cruz, El Boricua, and I'm your host here on Fuel Pasión Podcast. And today we're going to be diving into a topic, as in our last introduction of this new season, is an understanding that really goes often unspoken within our Latin community. And it's the meaning of legacy and how it manifests en nuestras familias y nuestras comunidades. Now, many of us may not even reflect on our own legacy, because look, I'll share that in a little bit, or even in the legacies of those around us. Yet they play such a crucial role in shaping in who we are and those that we aspire to be. And as we explore this concept, we'll look at some statistics. I had to do a little homework here that really highlights the importance of legacy and how it impacts our lives. Now, as I'm thinking about this and I'm reading this, how do we define legacy? Legacy can mean different things to different people. I think we can all agree on that. For some, it's about these tangible assets that we leave behind. For example, property, or maybe some type of financial resource. For others, it encompasses the values and traditions and even the lessons that we pass down to the future generations. When I think about the Latin community, and within the Latin community, legacy often intertwines with cultural heritage, conexiones de familia, family connections, and the stories that define us. This is why I opened up with that quote. It's about preserving our identity and ensuring that our contributions are recognized and celebrated. Okay, so let me deep dive on this, because I think a lot of times when we don't really look at what it is, and a lot of times, look, maybe you're someone that you're listening, you're like, yo, I never even thought about my legacy or someone's legacy. Now, for those of us that are maybe musicians, or we have musicians that we love to look up to, and also, I don't know why I couldn't say that, and also maybe sport teams or athletes, there's certain people that we look up to and we say, man, that's a great legacy that they have, right? And I think for me, when I look at some important things that illustrate why legacy is so key, I'm going to give you a couple, okay? The first one I want to hit is that family wealth and stability. According to a study in the Institute of Policy Studies, families that pass down wealth can significantly reduce economic inequality. So when we think about within the Latin community, where wealth disparities are pronounced and subject for another day, I think one of the key things is that when we create a legacy of financial literacy, okay, not just actual money, but literacy when it comes to finance and planning, that can empower our future generations. Look, I'm going to be honest, mi papa, my mom, they didn't do that. There wasn't a financial, passing down of wealth. More importantly, there wasn't even financial literacy passed down. For many of you that maybe are, parents, or maybe you have some siblings, maybe this is the time that we actually think about, maybe my legacy could be how to show my little brother, my little sister, or my spouse, or, whoever that is, my mom, mi abuelito, mi abuelita, let me show them so I can pass them down some financial literacy. I think that's one of the things that I think about that is really key. The second thing that I think about, not just family wealth and stability, is cultural heritage. Now, the National Hispanic Institute found that 80% of Latin youth, they value the cultural heritage. This signifies that understanding and embracing your roots, it is vital, it is vital in shaping our identities and fostering a sense of belonging. And I think the beauty of Los Angeles is that you have many students that say, look, my mom is from Mexico, my dad is from El Salvador, but my city is Los Angeles, Los Angeles. And I think that identity is so beautiful because we see two beautiful Latin heritage as well as the current one here in America. Like, that's beauty in seeing our students really embracing that. So I think for many of us as mentors or as, bosses or just in charge of certain things when it comes to schools or the workplace, how do we really understand to empower moments like this, especially for the young generation? And I'm going to follow this a little bit down because when we think about not just that cultural heritage, but it's also education and opportunity. Okay, just follow me, okay? Pew Research Center reports that Latin adults with a college degree are 3 times more likely to encourage their children to pursue higher education. And what this highlights for me is it really highlights the role of legacy in education, aspirations, and opportunities. Now, I want to pause there because I know for many of us within the Latin community, once we're done with high school, that's it. I got to work. I got to support my family. Look, I'm okay with that. Look, I've said this many times. This is my opinion that a higher education is like a key, like Uno card draw forward that allows you to really leverage moments of negotiation or moments of just promotion. But I also know that it doesn't guarantee success in life when you have a college degree. That's where the intangible things come into play. Are you a hard worker? Do you hustle? Do you think outside of the box? Are you proactive? Are you reactive? Like, I think a lot of these things now, where you get those little niche moments, it's really volunteering. It's really going into your community and giving back. It's really maybe yourself taking on a hobby like I am with this whole little podcast thing. Like, is being able to take things that maybe I didn't go to school for, but I know what it is to have time management, how to set up and break down, things of that nature. So when I talk about this particular moment of like building a legacy moment, how do we pass it down? Yes, education. Look, both of my boys, my wife, like both of them, one already graduated, the other one's in college. We believe in that. My wife and I both went to college. I finished, right? The beauty is also saying, look, hey, fellas, boys, there's also sides of opportunities. So I think, again, now, if you're going to be a lawyer, doctor, I think that's different too. But I think for me, one of the biggest things is understanding education and opportunity. And lastly, because you already know me, is community engagement. A survey by Latin Decisions revealed that 70% of Latinos believe that passing down cultural values and community involvement is essential. It's essential for future generations. This reflects strong commitments to fostering this sense of responsibility and connections within our communities. So as I look back at these reflections, I think it's essential to consider our own legacy. Have you considered that? Like, what values do you and I want to pass down, not just to our family, but our communities? Like, how can you and I inspire future generations to be able to embrace their identity and contribute positively to our communities? I think for me, I want to encourage you to like think about your family story. Think about your family traditions. Think about lessons that you've learned and even learned from them. I want you to when was the last time you had a conversation with your loved ones about legacy? And I think now that we have Thanksgiving around the corner, I think the beauty is, look, whether it's through storytelling, documenting, family histories, or just engaging and giving back to the community, that's a beauty in being able to honor heritage. Look, for many people that, for a lot of us within the Latin community, sometimes many of our families are big in their faith. They believe in going to the church. They believe in giving back. They believe to helping the orphanages and the widows, and they believe in helping the homeless. And that's beautiful. And I think that's something that for many of us, we need to learn from our elders. We need to learn from our families that these are moments that we can learn how to give back. I think of a friend of mine, Esteban Cifuentes, where he shared this moment when he was in high school and they had a chance to be able to give back at Skid Row. And the story goes, and I'm paraphrasing Esteban, that when he got back, he embraced his mom, and his mom was like cooking or preparing something. And she kind of was like, typical moms are like, what do you want? And his whole thing was just like, I just want to say, man, we're so rich. Like, we're so privileged. We have so much. And I've never understood that until today when I gave back to the city of LA. For me, that's a legacy moment. An opportunity of two things. One, seeing what his mom and dad has done to be able to sacrifice and invest in their families, to have a house right here in America, in LA, but also for himself to be able to give his time, to be able to give resources. I got to give you a shout out, Esteban, because you've been serving our, Watts, Jordan Downs community for well over 10 years now, being an officer. And I sometimes feel it was that moment for you when you were in high school that you realized that you can make an impact and that the legacy is there. I think for me, when I think about all of this, right, and I think about understanding the different meanings of legacy and its significance within our Latin community, I think it is vital for our growth and resilience. By recognizing the importance of our stories and values, we, you, me, we can create long-lasting impact that resonates for generations to come. So my hope is that we understand that. My hope is that as we are in this season 7 at Fuel Pasión and we're talking about legacy and we're going to learn of legacy stories and people creating their legacy or continuing a legacy that was already before them, my prayer and my hope is that we understand the beauty and really encourage each other to be able to I want to know what's the legacy you're trying to get after. I have a friend of mine, a longtime friend, that his whole goal was to be able to have an estate for generations to come. An estate where families can go annually or 2 or 3 times a year and to be able to meet up as family because he never had that. And he's building that moment. He's building this legacy moment of an estate, of a property, so that families can go and enjoy. Look, it looks different for each and every one of us. My legacy, story for another day. That's going to be at the end of the season. What's the legacy that I want to leave behind? You guys may or may not know, but my hope is that you can follow us and enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us in this podcast. Once again, immerse yourself dentro de la cultura, grow in your faith, and always make those conexiones. And if you want to check out any of our past episodes, check us out at fuelpasionpodcast.com. But like always, como dice mi abuelita, que Dios te bendiga.